3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasing the Racing, episode number 16. And we've got a bit of a special episode this time because we're joined by quite a number of guests. And we're over at the IOM TT, a rather wet and miserable TT so far. But we've got a sponsor live on the show today.
I tell you what, honestly, it looks like a dodgy stag doing here. It looks like a karaoke bar. The mad thing is we've got no studio, and by studio I mean we normally do it in the living room, don't we? That sounds seeded, doesn't it? It sounds horrendously seeded. But no, obviously we've got some cracking guests, Chris here. We've got the Jamie Coward here, who's just wiping the floor with everyone, embarrassing the shit out of the whole racing fraternity. And we've got the miracle man himself, Adam Mclean. And we've got our sponsor here. We'd like to introduce him. He's sitting opposite. He's still pissed from watching the football, so he's looking a bit edgy, which is great. Go on, Chrissy, introduce him.
So we've got Steve from TT Phone Cases with us today. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I've had some of that ginger juice, which has sorted me out, I think. But I'm having about 4 hours sleep.
Kids program, don't swear.
No, I'm all right. I did actually have one night out in the TT. I thought I'll go big. And then just on my way out, Dom said, "Oh, can you turn up 9 o'clock tomorrow morning for this?" So I was like, "Oh, you're joking." So I only had 10 beers and not 20. But I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a bit sore.
Did you enjoy watching the match last night?
Do you know what? It wasn't a great match, to be honest. It wasn't the best match. But where I was as well, I went to Bush's beer tent, but there's loads of bikers in there, which is exactly how it should be. However, there was no atmosphere. You know what I mean? The band was on. You couldn't hear the TV. The atmosphere was there for the bikers, but not for the football. So I went over to Jack's, and the guy said on the door, "Oh, you can't come in here now. It's full." And I've never seen it that busy before.
It is a motorcycle event, this, mind we're at.
Yeah,
so
yeah. No, that's fair.
Football.
It's every year.
It's a motorcycle podcast, young, and sod your football. Sod your football.
No, every year the night I get together with all the boys is the Champions League night. You know what I mean? And then the rest of it's obviously dedicated to TT. So I go big on Champions League night, and then.
Chrissy, honestly, it looked like I slapped his mother when I said I don't like football. Honestly, he's like, "You don't like football? You don't like..." We're in the motorcycles here. So, yes, TT Phone Cases. Tell us about that, how it came about, and what your plans and futures are.
Right, fair enough. Come about in 2013, so we've been going a fair bit now. And it basically came about as we wanted a TT phone case. You know, myself and a good friend Ed, who is actually away. So I need to give a shout out to Ed, he's actually gone away for TT. I can't believe it. So I have to make sure I get that in there as well. So he's left on me. But basically, come about, we just wanted a phone case with the TT, and actually looking around, you couldn't buy one. Couldn't even buy an eBay rip-off. It was just, they don't exist. Yeah, couldn't get one at all. This is only a fair few years ago. So we approached the government for a license, and they granted us one, which I appreciate, and we still got it today. Basically, we've been going ever since. So it just started off as printing our own sort of thing, and then it became a little bit more serious, and then we had a few queries, a few friends wanted a phone case. Next thing you know, got a website, and today...
Which is? Go on,
well, which
plug
is,
it. Which is? Go on.
TTCASES.com. I managed to remember that. So yeah, we've got TTCASES.com. Like I said, it's been going for 5 years now. Pretty successful. We get a lot of queries, especially this time of year, as you can imagine. And like I said, it's gone from strength to strength. We now have over sort of 300 phone designs. So you can imagine we can't put that many on the site actually. So it's very difficult to kind of capture every single phone model. But we do offer over 300 phone models. We've got all of the major brands. You know, Apple, Samsung, Nokia, the Hawaii or Hawaii. I can't
Hawaii.
spell it. I can never say it. Yeah, the cheap Apple ripoff. But yeah, it seems to be becoming more and more popular. So we started to then reach out to a lot more suppliers. And it's actually quite difficult, believe it or not, because everyone comes with different phones, different brands, different makes, and not obviously one supplier can do that. So over the years, we started to add more and more phone cases, and now we've got, like I said, several different suppliers, and we reach out to all of them, and it seems to be working pretty well. Obviously, got different case styles as well, different suppliers. So you've got the leather flip, you've got obviously your hard plastic, you've got your soft gel. We're talking to some suppliers at the minute about glitter phones. They seem to be popular.
Is that kind of like a vajazzle thing, is it?
Yeah, it's one of those, Dom, yeah. I've added you to the waiting list, Dom.
Good man.
So we've got those. We're kind of branching out a little bit there. They seem to be quite popular. I don't know if it's right for the TT audience, but, we do get the odd requests for vajazzle phones. So, fingers crossed we'll get there. And then, of course, we've got hundreds of designs as well. Lots of different ranges. We started branching out. We've got the classic TT logo, which seems to be the most popular. Then we've got your Joey Dunlop ranges. You've got, road signs, which seems to be really, really popular. An elegance range. So that seems to be popular with the ladies, just classic, elegant sort of things, stripes and spots. And then we've got a give and back sort of range, which is something that we do with a lot of the privateers. Dom, yourself. He's got a phone case there. No orders yet, Dom.
I know that's a lie because my dad ordered one and he ordered it for the wrong phone, so he's got a case, but it doesn't fit. But I tell you what, I actually heard about you through Dom and the Dom phone cases, and you know the little stick-on things that you've got on the back with where you put the cards in.
The phone wallets.
Yeah. They're really cool. I've never seen them before.
I think that's the thing. We started off as a phone case business, obviously, and thinking just about phones, and then we started to think, well, hang on a minute, we are official. We've got the government license, and we're looking at the contract. It's for mobile products, not necessarily just cases. So we thought, well, okay, what other products are out there? And it was only really this year that we decided to try and do something different, a bit of a risk. We ordered 200 of these phone wallets, the ones that Dom's got on his phone right now, and they're great, aren't they, Dom? They're brilliant.
Oh, they're absolutely they're tried and tested, and they're absolutely cracking. You know what I mean? You can even have it in the bath, the rubber background. Oh, and we got Jamie Coward picking it up here, trying to steal my identity and my money. I don't have any, mate. I'm a privateer like you. No, so obviously, like every good deal, it happened in the pub. I met these lot at the Joey Dunlop Foundation dinner, and it was a case of, I think they gave me a case to shut me up. It was just a case of it was a bet that went wrong, and they're paying the price for it. But no, thank you so much for the support, and it's obviously great to have you on the podcast as well.
No, appreciate it, boys. It's really good, and like I said, it's nice to support the privateers as well. I think we have sold quite a few cases of Doms. I was only joking, and give him a couple of quid last week. But we do a lot for charity as well. I think that kind of goes unnoticed. The Simon Andrews case. We've got that's sold well over the last couple of years. I think we've donated into 4 figures now as well, so it's a lot.
Oh, fantastic. Well done.
Yeah, we do that. Obviously, the cancer through Lee Johnson, the F13K, and there's a few more as well, so a lot of giving back on the site as well. So, yeah, if you've got a phone case, or if you've got a phone, rather, which I'm pretty sure everyone listening does, and if you like bikes, again, I'm pretty sure there's an audience here, then, if you need a TT phone case, just go to ttcases.com.
Have you got any social media links that you want to shout out as well, not just your website?
We're on Twitter, on Instagram. We're on all the social media ones as well. I mean, if you ask me all the handles now, I'd struggle, I think. But basically, yeah. Oh, no. I think it's TT Cases on Facebook. It's TT Cases _IOM on Instagram. And I think it's IOM TT Cases on Twitter. Sadly, there is actually a phone called the TT phone. It's like one of these Chinese, rip-offs. And
slagging off the competition already.
Yeah.
You've seen this. Don't go to them, go to me.
So so we had to be a bit diversity with the old Twitter handles and social media and that. But we are all over the place. So if you need to get in touch, you can reach out anytime.
Excellent, thanks. And we've actually just got our first Chasing the Racing phone case dropped off today, which looks mint, and we'll be sticking it out as a competition. So to win a Chasing the Racing phone case, all what you have to do is, when we put this out on Twitter, if you retweet this podcast, and you'll be in with a chance of winning the second Chasing the Racing phone case. So thanks very much for your support.
Yeah, you get the first one there, Chrissy. Anyway, cheers, boys. I've enjoyed myself. Good to listen to you. Good to be here.
Are you off back to bed now?
No, I'm going to watch you boys squirm under the mics now. I can have some more ginger juice.
Good man. Seriously, thank you so much for the support, and thank you for coming on the pod, mate.
Cheers, boys. Enjoy.
Our TT pod sponsor here. They are the official first one with a little bit of a live audience, and where we are in the paddock at the moment is the Scott Physio safe. Well, I've got Claire here to tell us all about it. So where the hell are we? We're in a cabin locked in with a load of sweaty bikers. So would you like to give us the official title, love?
So we're actually in the Scott Physio TT Physio tent, and what it's actually is this year we've progressed, and instead of being a tent, we've actually progressed to 2 porta cabins. So in the main porta cabin for the physio, we've actually got 5 beds in there with a team of physios and sports therapists. We've also got the hideaway, which is actually a chill-out room for all the riders and their to come in and actually relax. So Isla Scott, who's the head clinical physio, has actually been developing this idea over the last 13 years. And with her experience both in superbikes and the TT, she wanted to make a safe place that the riders could come and keep riding. Because at the end of the day, you guys go out, and all credit to you, whether you're soloists, whether you're sidecars, tinker with your bikes, but you forget about your bodies and being looked after. So we've got a team of volunteers. There's 7 of us, up to 9. Actually come over. We're all volunteers. We all self-fund. Isla's based on the island. Emma comes over from Cumbria. I come over from Peterborough. We've got Fiona from the island. Louise comes over from Scotland, so she does a lot of the Irish road racing. We've got Andy, who's an osteopath, who comes over, but also most importantly, an osteopath.
Oh, God, say
Physio
that after
and
a few
osteopath.
drinks. Oh, there we go. You've got everything, this team. It's fantastic.
But we're not forgetting we've got the star of the show, Nell. So she's a therapy dog, and a lot of the riders will come in and actually just, pet a dog, come and snuggle up to her. And it's just, we want to keep you racing. We want to be able to make sure that you're as safe as possible you can.
And I think the most important thing that we need to get across with this is that you are all volunteers. And, you get no backing whatsoever for being here. And obviously, we've got Jamie and Adam, like I keep mentioning, our guests, and we'll have a quick chat with them while you're here. Yeah. And it's fair to say, without this team, we'd be crying, wouldn't we? You know what I mean? It is without a doubt. I tell you what, if you want to just hand the mic over to, I'm telling you, it's like a karaoke bar in here. We're just swapping the mic around. But it's fair to say, Jamie, this is a needed service, and without them, would be stuffed.
Yeah, it's a massive part of the TT now. It's initially when I started it, I didn't really think about my body and stuff like that. But now these ladies and gentlemen that come in and do it for nothing, and like I said, volunteer, it's like I feel like every time you go out there and you come back in, you do a few little niggles. You go in there and see these girls.
You feel like you're being run over.
You feel like you're being run over by a bus, to be honest. So. Yeah, it's they do an amazing job, so I can't thank them enough. It's great.
That's it. And also we've got Adam Mclean. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you keep that microphone on, it's karaoke bar. We should just call this one karaoke bar. And obviously we've got the injured Adam Mclean here, who bounces like a rubber ball. You should be theoretically dead, mate, and yet you're still here. Obviously the Scott team look after you, and obviously you're missing out, which we'll get talking about in a minute. But you got any words about the lovely Claire and the team here?
Yeah, obviously I had a crash a few weeks ago and picked up quite a few injuries, and once I got over to the island I popped into the Scott Physiotherapy team, and they were more than welcome to help me out, and have spent quite a bit of time with me throughout the week, and making good improvements, so fantastic.
You're part of the family. You're part of the family, lad, I'm telling you. So anyway, I've interrupted you by interrupting with everyone else here, but like I keep saying, this is a service that is needed. And, is there any words you want to give about that, and what you would like to see from this in the future?
I know, certainly speaking on behalf of Isla, it's very much she wants to keep it going. We have to thank the Rob Vine Trust for actually supplying all the tape. We have some of the suppliers like Sports Tape, Gum On. We've got the new massage gun this year that we're using. Okay, we've got Active Root. So, which the guys like. And all of that with Yorkshire Tea as well coming on board, to really make a homely feel that people can step into. And the fact that they feel welcome and they're coming in and they're being treated, without this year alone, despite the weather, we've actually put in 392 voluntary man hours, which works out at 272 treatment hours. So that's 7,200 people coming back in and keeping being treated to be able to be ready and prepped to go. So we don't just work here in the paddock, we're also up onto Park Fermé. Isla and Emma go up there, and they are taping from 50 minutes before right up until the first rider is riding out. And that's regardless of where you are in the paddock, whether you're top flight riders, whether you're, your privateers like yourselves. We will work with everybody to keep you all guys. Sidecars as well. We'll do a great line in butt padding. We anywhere you want padded, we can now do it. Yeah. So, and regardless of the weather, we're here.
It's an incredible service that you do, and it's one of those things as well. There's obviously millions of people watching the races, and hundreds of thousands of people turn up and watching. But it's one of those things that totally goes behind the scenes and sort of goes unnoticed a little bit until you're in the paddock and you realise how important it is and crucial it is for the riders. So yeah, it's an amazing service. A lot of the riders seem to get fluorescent coloured tape on the arms, legs, neck, everywhere. I presume there'll be a lot of people listening to the podcast that sort of see it on TV and pictures and whatever, but don't really understand what it is. I presume that's quite a common thing for you to be applying.
Yeah, so there's some people that will only get taped here at the TT for arm pumps. So you've got the tightening that's coming through the arms, causes difficulty on holding on. So when you're going around on a bumpy track, you don't want any distractions. We've already seen this year that necks seem to be when they've actually been out because of the wind. So we're doing everything that we can. The tape goes on in specific ways for the rider, so it's very much individualised. Isla developed the arm pump taping system here to help them actually. The theory is it'll lift the tissues and allow them to grip without worrying about whether or not they can lose the grip. We'll put it on. The colours actually come down to the fact that we ask them what colours they want. That's the theory. If they go, I don't mind, we choose. And then we work closely with the medics as well. So the medics understand the systems that we're actually using, so that, you know, if they need anything from the medics wise, they know what to do and how to remove it. Because obviously in places, you know, there's places that we can put it. We can put it everywhere and anywhere.
Oh, brilliant. And you mentioned a few companies that sort of support the physios, whether it's paying for the tape or paying for the treatment, like the supplies or whatever. If there's any companies out there that would like to get in touch and make a contribution, what is what sort of angles can people come at, and like how can people get involved?
They can get involved in any way, really. You know, anything that they can help with. If they contact Isla at Scott Physio,
checks, anything like that, you know what I mean?
Check.
Anyone wants to come forward, it's a room full of women, chuck the cheddar at them, it'll be grand.
You know, equipment testing, we can do that, you know, that's specific, because this is a unique environment. Where else can you actually see people racing, or hopefully
at
racing?
the moment, 2019, sweet FA.
I'm being
but anyway,
optimistic.
we'll just discuss that later on, you know what I mean?
But yeah, so, you know, coming over and being safe, you know, the hideout here is quite unique. You'd see it in golf and places like that where, you know, the golfers will go off. So here, this is what we're creating, that environment where it's away from all the tension and they can just relax and chill. So yeah, at Scott Physio, they can contact Isla and, you know, get in negotiations and talk with her.
Excellent. And does that go the same for if there's physios out there that are, say, motorsport fanatics and they would like to maybe volunteer their time next year or whatever? Would they just get in touch the same way?
Yeah, so it's all contact is through Isla as head clinical lead, you know, and she goes through. It's a tough task to get on the team, I'll have to say. I've been here 6 years, Emma's been here 3 years. We're not giving up our spaces.
Oh, good stuff.
We're
Go on.
camping in the TT.
That's brilliant. Now go on, and here's a test for you. Get all the social media posts out there before you depart from this company and go back to work.
So we have, only because I'm looking at the poster, I will cheat there a little
yeah,
bit.
cheating sod, yeah. There, hold on. Where's your TTCASES one? Steve's still here. He's still just nursing.
No, we haven't got a... So we've got an at Scott Physio. We've also got at Scott Physio _TT team, at Scott Physio _Isla, at Scott Physio _TT dog Nell. Got to follow her because we love her. And then you can also follow Isla on, actually email her by Isla at scottphysio.com.
Well, brilliant. Well, obviously, you know, before we get our guests on behalf of me and all the other riders, thank you so much for this service, and just thank you for coming on the show and giving us the safe space. Go on, give us a round of applause. There we are. That's it.
Can I also say just thanks to all the guys, riders, you know, for their support for us to help us develop the service, because without them, we couldn't do what we do.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thanks very much. So if you just pass the mic over. And as we've already spoke to both of them before, but formal introduction. Welcome to Jamie Coward, who had a fantastic pre-TT down at the Southern 100.
And the Northwest, mind. We can't forget about the Northwest. That's come and gone now. But obviously, you know, let's get talking to him about it.
Yeah, so starting off, obviously, well, I tell you what, let's go back to the Northwest. Which classes were you in, and how did the week go?
We were in the Super Twin, Super Sport, and Superbike, Super Stock class. On the Thursday, we were they were obviously qualified well on the Super Twin, and I think we were pole, and then the 600 I qualified about 11 for 12.
You think you were Paul? You know
think
fine
I-
well
yeah,
you were
yeah.
Paul. Look
I
at you. You're like
think
the modest
yeah,
Jamie Coward. I
yeah.
think I was on the front row.
yeah, I was Paul. And then we were Superbike and Super Stock. I think I were 12th on 11 for something like that, but maybe a bit further down. And then Super Sport, a similar sort of place. I just kept going out on my own, just doing my own thing. And then in the race on the Thursday, we had a great race in the Super Twins. I finished second just behind Stefano Bonetti on the pattern, which were a bit annoying because I'd have liked to win it, but it's just one of them things. Then Super Sport, we ended up finishing 5th, which were a really good result. Now we were racing with Hutchie and David Torden. We were actually catching the lead group fairly quick, to be honest, last couple of laps, and a bit of a shame because I got beaten up a little bit into the first corner. A lot of the other lads got their elbows out and started pushing me about and stuff. And it's been a long time since I've been in that sort of scenario kind of thing. So I was a bit lapsadaisical is a word, I think, on the first lap, but I managed to claw it back and actually finish 5th. And then the Super Stock race finished 7th. So yeah, it was a good week really. But the Saturday I fucked it off really because the conditions were really bad. So I got up in the morning, heard the rain on the window or on the camper van roof, and I just thought, this is pointless. I've got TT around the corner, so I just told the team I'm not bothered.
Well, that's it. It's a case of you're thinking the bigger picture. You know, you grew up like me, Jamie. You know, I mentioned you a fair bit on the podcast. You know, you've grown up here on the Isle of Man. The TT is a massive priority for you.
TT is just for road racing. It's a pinnacle. It's a be all and end all. You know, if you need the results here to progress in your career. You know, so for me to go out at the Northwest, I'd love to go out there because I do like riding in the rain. But it's for me to go out there and just make a silly mistake and fall off and hurt myself or wreck a bike, and then obviously it's just be disastrous for this obviously 2 weeks.
But to be fair, like, you know, James, the mad thing is, for someone who, you know, your idea wasn't to attack the Northwest, you went in there full teeth, ready to tear mothers' faces off. You were full on ready for it. Yeah, it was fantastic to see you up there, mate. Yeah,
I was, like I said, I was quite surprised with myself really when I obviously seen the Super Twin times, and then all the times really it were. Obviously, I know I can do it, and I've been there before, but it's been a while since I've had that sort of confidence and belief in myself to do that, you know. So, yeah, it were really good. Which
is definitely showing it all. But while we're on, let's get some plugs out. Who are you racing for this year?
I'm racing for a team called Prez Racing, which is a new team for this year. We rode last year at the TT on a 600, and this year we bought a Yamaha R. Oh, he's got an R6 from last year, and we bought a Yamaha R1 for this year. Then riding for a team called KTS Racing, which is Kevin Watteret, Tony Morris, and Simon Bleasdale built the bikes, and it's a fantastic bit of kit. You know, we actually bought the bike from Adam. It's Adam's old bike from last year, so it's obviously a good bike. So he had some good results on it.
I was about to say he was up at the Northwest there last year on it, so no pressure there, young'un.
Yeah, so it's a good bike, and obviously we've made some changes to it ourselves, and we've put a few bits on it, but it's really good.
Oh, spot on. And you don't see a great deal of R1s out there. Was it your choice to go with that manufacturer?
Yeah, it's I've been riding BMWs, I rode Kawasaki, and I just fancied something a bit different, you know, just a bit. It's nice to just experiment with something else, you know, because you've been doing something for such a long time. It's just nice to have a go at something else. And to be honest with you, I'm quite surprised that not a lot more people are using them, because the Tuesday night practice, the last practice at the TT, and obviously the Northwest, the bike is just phenomenal. It's so easy to ride. Jumping from the R6 to the R1 is they're so similar in engine, the characteristics of the chassis and how they turn and steer and stuff. It's really good, which helps obviously when you jump from the R6 to the R1. So it's it was just personal preference, and the guy that obviously owned the bike, he wanted to try and get a bit of backing, manufactured backing as well. So we got a bit of support from Raceways and Yamaha UK as well. So it's not a massive amount at the moment, because obviously we're such a small team, but hopefully with the results we're getting, we should be getting some more support. Fingers crossed.
Oh, that's absolutely mint. And so how many years have you actually been coming at the TT now?
I did the Manx Grand Prix initially for a couple of years, and I made a bit of a booble that, to be honest. I should have won 1 year. I should have won senior and junior quite easily, because I was lapping at 121.5 mile an hour laps. But going through Laurel Bank in slippery conditions, I had a massive eyesight, landed on my bonds, and knocked myself out.
I had no idea about that. Yeah. I knew you owned a mullet back then. That was the only thing I remember. Who's this bikey looking lad?
Landed on my bonds and knocked myself out, and that was me written off. Then obviously bike were knackered as well. So. But and I've come to the TT after that, because obviously I've progressed quite a lot that year, and I've been doing the TT now 6 years. I did first year with 2013-14. I crashed same places where Adam crashed just recently. Broke my leg in 13-14 places and dislocated my elbow, and then had to sit out that year. But then it's about 6 years on the TT now, so it's still learning, like everyone says. But yeah, it's good.
I was about to say Tamragee, you know, fantastic circuit, but it's like the Crane of Curve clubs, but in Northern Ireland here. I've just realised what's going on.
It's pretty sketchy bit. It's a bit that little bit of corner. That corner there, it's a bit of a sketchy corner, to be honest. But it's the place itself is fantastic. I'd love to go back one day and settle the demons, and then put on a show for the Irish fans again.
Spot on. And you know, like over the last 6 years, what's your sort of lap speed progression been like? Where did you start, and what's your fastest lap to date?
I started when I first initially started the Manx Grand Prix. I ran an old R6 just before the fuel injection. I got around at 116 mile an hour, which were pretty good really. And then the 600, I think my fastest time on the 600 is 124 and a half, I think, and the big bike's 120.
And which bike was that on? Sorry, like your fastest super sport lap. Because obviously on the R6 this year.
No, my fastest lap on the 600 was on a Kawasaki
right.
A couple of years ago. I was running my own team then, and the bike got built by a guy called Rick Abbott, and it was a fantastic bit of kit, and I just gelled with it really well. But yeah, I set my fastest lap on that. So then obviously the big bike with a BMW. I rode a BMW last year for Pens 13, and I set my fastest lap on that.
Spot on. And what start numbers are you starting this year?
15 in all classes, so which is nice for fans and stuff. Because normally you get like 15 free or like 15, 17, 18, no different. But this year they seem to have like leveled the playing field out, and they're all similar all the way through. Same as Dom, obviously.
Yeah.
Dom's got number 20, like, so in both classes. So yeah, number 15. So just keep your eye out for me.
Oh, smashing. And as we alluded to before, the pre-TT down at the Southern 100 was quite a successful week for yourself.
Yeah, it was really. Just Dom just couldn't get his bike off the line, which is a bit unfortunate. It would have been a nice little battle, but. Yeah, I had a good run really. We just there were me and Alan Oversby. Like I said, Dom unfortunately couldn't get his bike offline, so he struggled.
Mention
to catch
it one
us
more
up.
time. Tell everyone that.
But it were good fun. I was riding like 4 different bikes, which were pretty difficult from jumping from one to another, you know. But
that's, bearing in mind, that's something you've done for years, and not many riders can do that. Now, Chrissy, you know, which is fair enough, in BSB level, you know, we're going to discuss the BSB later in the programme, but that discipline of being on the same bike, you know, you like Adam to me right here, you've done a bit of BSB yourself, but have you? We'll discuss that later on. Sorry, this is Jamie's time, special Jamie's time. But obviously the skill level to actually jump from bike to bike to bike, you know, you on every bike nearly at the pre-TT.
But barring a sidecar, which hopefully me and Don might have for next year if we try and keep plugging it. I think I'll be driving though, I reckon. Yeah, it's obviously it's a bit funny because obviously I rode a 250 TZ that Adam rode for the team last year at Classic TT, and you're jumping from that to a Manx Norton to a 350k, falling onto a big Classic Superbike. It's a bit difficult, but it's I suppose because I've been doing it for such a long time, I've always done that. It becomes like natural, you know.
Do you think that's beneficial? Because obviously, when you go to road racing, you get one crack a year at it. You know, it's not like we can go to Donington Park and just go, you know, track day.
Yeah,
when you go into the road racing scene, you can go. Well, Ballown's a little bit different because obviously you got 3 different cracks.
Yeah.
But obviously, being on different bikes, is that an edge that you think you need?
I think I think it's beneficial. Like obviously, for example, the Classic TT now that's been thrown in there. It's good for us TT riders because if it's before that was a thing, it's with the Manx Grand Prix, and the TT riders couldn't do that, so it fills in a void. So jumping on it, even though it's just jumping on a classic bike, it still keeps you sharp and it keeps your knowledge of the TT circuit up to date and all as well. Whereas a couple of years ago, when it wasn't the Classic TT, you'd be a year before you come back to the TT again. So it's when you go down that Glencountry road with a year's gap, I can imagine it being a bit frightening compared to going there every 4 or 5 months. But yeah, jumping from bike to bike, it's I think that's beneficial because you're riding different styles of bikes, different manufacturers and different CCs and different like single cylinder, twin cylinder, 4 cylinder. I think it all helps with your knowledge and feel for a bike.
Well, it's definitely showing graces because obviously with the super sport, you know, the TT is obviously the only time that we have got out. You know, you were top of the time and I mean comfortably, mate. It wasn't just like the pace is off, obviously, with the grip level and everything like that, and the wind, of course. But you know that did not stop you in the super twin category or even the super sport.
No,
you're on pace, mate, and this is your year.
Yeah, the initial the first night were terrible, to be honest. Just the wind over the top. But the bikes, obviously, I've ridden the 600 last year, and the twin's a brand new bike for this year. But the twin, the bike's absolutely fantastic, you know. So it's like a pleasure. It's a pleasure to ride, like. But it's yeah, I was quite surprising myself, you know, when I got back and I seen the times. I think I ended up P4 in the Super Sport, and I was about just short of 120 mile an hour lap on a twin. I lost my tongue there. But 120 mile an hour lap on a twin, as Adam knows, it's a fair feat, like. So it's I was well chuffed.
And obviously it's been a really disappointing week so far with the weather. I came out here on Thursday and I go back home today, and I haven't seen a bloody lap, so it's been a bit shit for us. But how many laps have you done so far in practice?
I'm a bit fortunate, really. I've done 8 laps so far, so which is
I think that's the record for this.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's the record. I think I got 2 on the twin, 2 on the 600, and the other night, obviously on the R1, with it being a new bike, I just spent the night on that, and then just making changes, so I managed to get 4 laps on that. So I've done 8 laps at the moment, so I'm fairly pleased, to be honest.
Oh, fantastic! And are you feeling confident for the races next week? Are you feeling good on the bikes and ready to go?
Yeah, the Super Twin and the 600, it's they're about ready, really. We just got a few little tweaks to make and change. Just do 1 lap on them and probably park them up. But like I said before, the R1, there's not many people using it. We're trying to get a setup into it at the moment, and we've made some good progression on Tuesday night when we last time went out, and we've changed it again in that direction, and fingers crossed if we get to go today we can try it again. And then but to be honest, if we don't get any more practice, I'll be quite happy to go as it is, you know, because it did feel comfortable, and I could ride it like that, but I'd like to get it a bit more comfortable if I could, you know.
definitely. Obviously, being a podcast, people can't see, and these are pre-recorded. The weather is shit.
It's
It is
absolutely,
absolutely shit. It
atrocious.
is blowing a bleeding hoolie up here, man. It'll blow a few skirts up, but the weather's not good enough for the skirt atmosphere, which is unfortunate. But no, Jamie, obviously we've got Adam Mclean there, have a good old chin wag with, and mate, this is your year. You're going amazing. You've even hit the gym. You've packed in Guinness. You're a different man. I remember when you were fat and had good crack. Now you're all professional. But no,
I'm
Jamie.
not that professional.
Obviously, we're going to still have you around. We're going to have a talk about your predictions as far as the BSB and everything like that. But Jamie, thank you
thanks
so
very
much for
much.
being on. It's
Cheers.
absolutely great, and we're going to hand you over to the next guest, which Chris is going to introduce.
And so we had a quick chat earlier. We were actually teammates for about 2 weeks or so, a couple of years ago. But nice to finally meet you in person. And I've obviously you've been out with quite a serious injury. How's the rehab going?
Yeah, we had a crash at Tandragee just at the start of May, and as Jamie said previous, he crashed at the same place, funny enough. So, yeah, Craner Cars of Ireland. So,
That's going to be its nickname from now on, isn't it?
yeah. So clipped the grass bank, and that fired me into the hedge on the right hand side of the road. I broke my right arm in 5 places. I broke my collarbone in 3 places. My shoulder blade, a couple of ribs, and then split my pelvis in 2. So, I have a few plates and screws.
And he said, bear in mind, he's still smiling here. To all our listeners, he's still here with a big smile on his face. But obviously, that is the downside of this sport. But I'm going to be very honest. From someone who tries to compete with you, you were absolutely on form. You know what I mean? The old pre-season tests, and you've had a little couple of scrapes. But the fact is, you have come out the gates, mate, and you came out the gates hard, and you have been bitten. But the fact is, everyone had an eye on you, and you must have known that.
Yeah, the start of the season was going really well for us. I put a lot of effort in over the winter to make sure my fitness was good, and obviously.
Any plugs you want to put out there? Any help? Any supports you want to shout out to? Any thank yous?
I don't know. I don't even know where I would start. Evolve Health and Evolve Health and Performance. It's a gym and a strength and conditioning coach, Jack Clark, who's been a real help to me over the winter. McAdoo Racing, obviously second year with them, so we hit the ground running this year and had a good start to the season. So I was so gutted to be out just a week before Northwest, and then obviously TT as well, the two main races of the year that we'd really been looking forward to and working towards, sitting out for. But yeah.
But at the end of the day, we'll go back, obviously the end of last season, you know what I mean? You were, well, bloody hell, podiums at the Ulster Grand Prix. You were fighting there at the Northwest last year. Here, how many times have you been coming here now? Is this your 3rd or 2nd year, mate?
I've done my newcomer year was 2017, so 17 and 18, and then I did the Classic TT last year. So yeah, you know what it's like around here. It takes a few years to learn. So Classic TT last year, you may say, was my 3rd attempt at it. So yeah, I got on the podium in the 250 race.
You had a right good fight with Lee Johnson on that one, though, because obviously you've got a bit of a 2-banger history, haven't you? 2-stroke, like a proper Irishman. You were brought up on Castrolaw, weren't you?
Yeah, rode 2 strokes for a few years. Won the Irish Road Racing Championship in 125s when I was 18, actually. So yeah, that's where I started at, and I rode 125s in short circuits for a few years. So stepping onto the 250 was nice. I led the race for the first 2 laps, and Lee pulled the pin in the last 2 and eked out a bit of a gap. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed riding the 2-stroke round here. Just wish I was born a few years earlier and could have raced them in the TT.
Spot on. And now with the rehab, obviously you mentioned you've just started walking again. What sort of timescale are you looking to get back on a bike?
I'm not sure. My injuries on my left side, obviously my collarbone, shoulder, ribs and pelvis have all come on fairly well. I'm up and walking again, and I don't really have any pain. So, but my right arm, that's just the surgeon says whenever he opened me up and went to go in, there wasn't even anything there to plate to, so he had to start and screw bits of bone together to then plate. So there's so many screws in there holding small bits of bone together that it's just going to be weak for a while. the doctors reckon 9 months for my arm to be right again, but I reckon otherwise. So. we'll just have to see. My target is definitely the Ulster Grand Prix in August, so I'd really like to get out for it and get the end of the season finished, because obviously the thought of not getting racing again at all this year and going back next year, I'd like to get out before the end of the season, really.
Yeah, sure. Like Dom said, obviously you had a real strong season last year on the Kawasaki, and I noticed you did a few wild cards at the British Superbikes in the Superstock 600 class that year.
Yeah, I raced in BSB a few years ago. I think it was 2011 and 2012 in the 125 class, but I spent more time in the gravel trap, and we ran out of money, so we sacked that job off. So came back started last season, round 2 Brands Indy, out in the stock 6 class, and finished on the podium. So it was nice to just, for a road racer, as we all talk about, to just walk in and get on the podium. And obviously it's a very, very competitive series, especially the stock 1000 class is absolutely phenomenal, and the superbikes that you race in yourself. So it was nice.
Obviously, we all talk about, the Hickman Harrison, how the BSB has changed the game. But, when you look back in the past, it really hasn't. But is that something, even with you, Jamie, would it a case of almost just not do as much road racing in the future, Adam, or is it going to try and get back into British? It's all about money. Can you see yourself doing more shorts next year?
I think a way forward for me, and just I honestly do believe that the way forward for the likes of road racing to run at the front, you have to be so sharp nowadays. And it is about, years ago they talked about riding 90% and stuff like that, and now it is 100% all the time. So the sharper you can be, the better. And obviously the likes of Dean has really come on form the past couple of years, down to he's been doing British Championships, so it's definitely helped him. So I think for me, looking towards the future, I think it'll be slightly less road races, more short circuit races, concentrate more on the internationals as opposed to some of the smaller Irish roads that I've done for years.
Very successfully.
Meantime, we've been talking about, obviously with the weather disrupting practice this week, it looks like it's going to be a big advantage for those riders that are staying on the same bike or who have been racing the bikes running up to the TT, because it's a case of, like the likes of Peter Hickman, who's here on the brand new BMW. He's only had something like 2 laps on the superbike up to now, and it's going to look like he's going to be going out racing soon without much sort of practice, data, etc. Out of the sort of main dogs battling for the win, who's your pick for the race wins this week?
I definitely think Harrison, personally. The first night of practice, he did a 126 mile an hour lap on the 600 in pretty windy conditions, which, Jamie, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And he's riding really, really well at the minute. He's familiar with the team, he's familiar with the bikes. So just with the way the conditions are, I think Dean is definitely in the best seat in the house.
Same question goes to you, Jamie.
It's just the same answer, really. Dean's he's been with that team now for 3 years, hasn't he? So he's riding the same bikes week in, week out, So it's I don't think you can't look past him, really. Like I said, with Peter's obviously on the new BM. I don't know if he's got the old BM in the back of his wagon or not, but it might be worth digging that out and taking that for a run.
Any outside wild cards that you think that what's coming? Because I personally think Connor Cummins, this is his year to really make a shine on it.
Yeah, obviously. So was it Monday night or Tuesday night his last got out? Tuesday. It's been that long I can't remember. But yeah, I think Connor's second lap, towards the end of the lap, he got black flagged. I think for there was something his bike was putting out oil or something. Yeah, but up until that, he was nearly on for a 130 mile an hour lap. Really? So yeah, he was up until I think he got black flagged just after the bungalow. But up until then, I think it was 129.5, and he still had the bungalow to go. So, yeah, Connor, definitely an outsider, 100%.
I would also add, I think Lee Johnson's going to be really strong this week. He's coming in real good form. Obviously, was riding brilliant at the Northwest, and he's on the 2018 BMW, which has got all the settings, and it's had plenty of runs around here. So I think he's in a very strong position this season coming into the race.
But at the moment, you see, with like it, I think people have almost had too much time off the bike because you get in a mindset.
I was saying this the other night to my mate. We're stopping at a house down the road, and my best mate's there, and we were having a bit of a chat. And he said I said the same thing to him. I said, but when we get going again today, if we do get to go again, it's going to be like starting afresh again. So your brain's going to be slow again. You have to get your brain up to speed and everything before the race. Then we're racing the next day, so it's all going to be a bit fresh. Normally you've been here for like last year. We were here for. By this time, I was worn out, I was knackered, I was ready for going home because we've done that many laps. It was stupid, but now when you set off today, it's going to be like brand new again, So
it's going to be like bulls in a china shop because it is. To be honest, it's a little bit. I think almost everyone should get together and just say, look, let's just remind ourselves this is only the third night of practice, and people are going to go out and think times, and we are, and it's still blowing a bleeding hoolie out there, and it's still soaking.
I think Gary will make an announcement to try and calm us all down, but we'll just have to wait and see, won't we?
But obviously, Adam, you're unfortunate, you're missing this year out, but you'll be the only happy person that it's absolutely miserable. No one's getting the edge.
Yeah, if there was ever a TT that you'd want to miss, I think this would definitely be it. So and then I'm making advantage of it too because obviously the team at Scott Physiotherapy, they're usually flat out busy through practice week with everybody been in, and then just this week there has been. Nobody's been out, so nobody's tired. So I've been in every day for a couple of hours, getting well looked after. So, yeah, definitely making advantage of that. So,
good. And have you been having a good time over here? Have you been having a couple of nights out in Douglas or out?
Yeah, I've had a couple of drinks, but nothing too exciting. I'm trying to be.
He's blushing here, mate. No one can see this. He's got a bit red in the face here. Oh, Adam.
Trying to be well behaved-ish.
Oh, but no, it's mental. The mad thing is, obviously, we get subjects. We're going to quickly. We've got a few questions. If you lads got any questions for Chrissy, because we're going to talk about the BSB next. But as far as the TT, we've got nothing really to discuss because nothing's been happening. So, but obviously, quickly going into that, let's talk about the BSB. Because there's now happening on the roads here, and let's talk about how successful you've been, Chrissy. Go on. I don't know what you're asking. You're on the podium. Talk me through it.
So after such a difficult start of the season, obviously with lots of mechanical failures, and I've been taken out twice now, it was really good to finally really turn things around at the weekend, and I had a real strong weekend. I was up in the sort of top 3 through practice and qualifying. It was very tight in qualifying. I think I qualified 5th, but there was about 4 or 5 of us all in the same 10th. It was mega tight. And then we had one of those 100-mile races on the Saturday. So basically it's like we'll go out, we do a 22-lap race around Donington, and then you get a 10-minute pit stop, change wheels, refuel, full tank of fuel, and then back out for another 22 laps. So by the end of that, then 44, you're absolutely hanging.
Is that actually, how long's that system been there in the stock foul?
Well, they brought it in just for the Super Stock 1000 category. I think this is the 3rd year. So it's only a couple of rounds a year. I think we do it about 3 times, and they call it a 100-miler. It isn't 100 miles, but it's a long distance anyway. But no, that race went really well. Got a good start. It was nice and dry, good conditions, and I was battling at the front with the normal people that you'd expect. I was second for most of the race, but a lad, Alex Olsen, got us just at the end. So finished 3rd, which first podium of the year I was happy with, but it's only half point. It's like half a race basically, and I knew where I was weak, and I had a good few places to improve as well. So went back out for the second part of the race and hit the front quite early on. It was the first sort of 10 laps was brilliant because there was about a 6-man scrap for the lead, and those are my favourite types of racing. Battling every corner, either passing someone or getting past. So there was a few parts of the course where I was stronger, a few parts where I was weaker. So it was a lot of overtake and a lot of action. But things sort of settled down, and Coops, actually our last guest on the podcast, was the one that hit the front, and I tucked in behind him, and he kind of pulled us away a little bit from the rabble, And then
The rabble? Are you calling everyone else shit here? God, you're getting some slagging in here, Chrissy. What's the matter with you?
And then before long, we're hitting the back markers, which was quite a vital part of the race. How like quick and how efficient you could get through the back markers. So anyway, really happy with how the race went. I got the fast lap of the race in the second part and finished second behind Coops. So you get your normal points. So for second place would usually be 20. But you get like a bonus for the second part. It's quite complicated, but for the second part of the race, whoever wins the second part gets an extra 5 points. Whoever comes second gets an extra 3, and then third gets an extra 1. So it was good points. And obviously, after the disaster start of the season, I think I was on 4.5 points going into that race, and then I got a 21 in one race, or 23 or something. So moved us up the championship a little bit. Sunday's race, woke up, the weather was like this, pissing down, and I don't know if you've ever ridden at Donington before, but it is bloody
Have you lads ridden in Donington?
Yeah, it's... do you know how different tarmacs all around the country have different levels of grip? So I don't know if you've ever rode at Thruxton, Pembrey or Anglesey, but them three are ridiculously grippy. You can like literally ride it like it's dry. And then there's Donington, which is total opposite end of the spectrum, which is by far the slippiest track.
What makes it like that then?
I think people say it's the aviation fuel. So, because it's right next to East Midlands Airport, and obviously the planes are taking off and landing over the track. Apparently, they dump some shit when the...
It probably is that, you know. It's
Yeah.
like, obviously, like pre-flight check, just empty the bucket.
Honestly, mate, you've never known anything like it. Like, do you know, normal track, you add 10% onto the lap time. At Donington, it's way more. It's like, if it's pacing down at Donington, you're doing well to get your knee down. Where at other tracks, it's just bang, bang, bang. But anyway, so Donington, I think I have rode the new Kawasaki in the wet before, but that was like the first proper wet race. And settled in okay. I was running third. And then, do you know, as you go up to Coppice, the blind bit, broke hard up to there, and the engine braking like locked the bike up. So I got off the brakes, sat it up, and I had to go out on the gravel. Managed to rejoin in, I think it was something like 10th, and then I worked back up to 6th by the finish. But final lap, 6th position. After running on, I was pretty happy with 6, you know, good chunk of points. And going on to the back straight, so 2 corners to go, and I just got absolutely nailed in the side. Just before I knew anything, I was on the ground, and just turfed us off the bike, slid down, and it really hurt. So I've been the last sort of a week or so, I've been like a winged bird. I haven't been able to do much, but my injuries are coming on okay.
We've got Adam Mclean sitting here.
Yeah,
You're
no,
talking about a winged bird. He's just looking at you going, "You tart. What's the matter with you? You can walk, mate."
Yeah, but yeah, it's such a shame to end the weekend like that, but I'm taking loads of positives from the weekend. You know, we've talked about the new ZX10.
I was about to say, we've got Adam here, and he's been on the new ZX10, so it's like, obviously it'd be good to get your feedback on it, but it seems like you're really getting the grips of that bike now. Yeah,
well, I think the main sort of feedback from the riders that have been on it have been how they've increased the power, and it's spinning up so much faster. It's quite aggressive, the power delivery. So a lot of the problems that we've been having when I first got on the bike was sort of trying to smoothen that out, because when you know what it's like when you get into a corner, especially slow speed corner, and you just want to tickle the throttle just to take the tension out the chain. And when I first rode the thing, it was coming in quite aggressive, and it was difficult to control that in the middle of the corner. But we've massively made big inroads on with that, and it's, you know, I felt brilliant on the bike at the weekend. Obviously it was actually quite nice because there was lots of manufacturers. There was Suzuki, Kawasaki, Aprilia, probably more BMW, Yamaha. They were all there, and it just shows like all the bikes have got the, you know, the strengths and weaknesses. But I felt like. I feel like I'm learning where the strengths of the Kawasaki are and sort of utilising them as much as I can. And in the past, when I've rode the BMW, that had already sort of been developed a bit. So when we bought that from the shop, it was almost like nearly a race-winning package straight away. Stick suspension in, and like there's a ballpark for everything, and you're not far away. Where it's been quite. I'm really enjoying this year, sort of having a having the challenge of having a bike it's got the speed, it's got the power, it's got the suspension, it's got everything you need, but it's like my job to try and, or our job as a team to try and work out how to put it all together like a jigsaw, really. And I feel like we're making great progress. And obviously getting the fastest lap of the race and being on the podium obviously shows. A couple of rounds ago we were battling for like 10th or whatever, so making good progress. And I'm the next few tracks that we're going to are all good tracks, Brands GP, and then up at Knockhill for like my sort of local one. Adam, were you on the beginning of the season? Were you on the new ZX10?
Yeah, actually, a lot of people complained about as you say, the throttle, the power delivery and the throttle connection stuff. But I actually really gelled with the 2019 bike fairly quick. But I can relate to the coming out of slow corners. You say just as you want to take the slack out of the throttle, it'll have you out of the seat. I did notice that, but it's not as critical in road racing because it's more fast and flowing. And if you're driving out of the likes of a road end, as soon as you get to the apex, you're starting the bike straight up. So it's not as critical at a road race. But the new 19 bike, I really like it, and it's phenomenally fast for a stock bike. In comparison to some of the likes of the Suzuki's and stuff. You definitely notice the speed difference.
Did you get a lot of like testing on the new one? Do you think there's like, obviously Chris, he's, you know, like, it's fair to say at the BSB there's a lot more competition as far as on the big bikes is concerned, which is a fair comment. And you know, do you think there is more development like after like when you get fixed? You know, do you think there's progression even now within the bike? Yeah.
We did pre-season testing at Cartagena on my 18 bike, and I managed to trash that a bit. So got on the 19 bike at the Silverstone BSB test at the start of the year.
Which is a good place to test. You know what I mean? Like, that's my comment beforehand. You know, if you want to go and learn what a bike's doing, you get with the fastest lads, and that's exactly what you've done there.
I don't think some realise, but that stock 1000 class is phenomenally competitive. Like, I think the first round of the year was there 40 odd bikes trying to qualify.
Silverstone, God, that was it?
At Silverstone, I think there was 60 stock thousands turned up, and they split it into two. So there was about 20 kids that went home straight away. Yeah. 17 lads, I think, turned up and just went home, didn't qualify. Yeah.
With obviously you being on the Yamaha, Jamie, was it something you would consider getting in the stock 1000? You know, get some time on.
Yeah, I'd like to try it, but it's just down to funds at the end of the day for the team. You know, it's a new team, so it's the guy who runs the team is just running it himself. So obviously to go over there, and he's obviously based in the Isle of Man as well, so he's got to get the steam racket over to the island and then or to England, and then he's got to pay for the entry and stuff like that. So it's just expensive really more than anything. But I would like to try and go, you know, because the Yamaha as a package, like I said before, it's phenomenal. I don't know why people aren't using it. It's just so easy to ride. The power delivery, like you've been talking about on the Kawasaki, is so ferocious. This thing is just mind blowing how nice it is. Just so much torque and drive. And for example, around the TT course, we go around in like BMW or Kawasaki might have to go around like say Sarah's, for example, in second or third gear or second gear. Yeah, you could roll around in third gear, carry a bit more mid corner speed, and just use the torque of the Yamaha to drive you onto the straight. You know, so it's really good. I'd like to try it.
Well,
eventually.
Have you been following the BSB? Do you watch the superbikes?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, obviously just a keen interest with the Yamahas and stuff, and it's the obviously Taylor and Taz, and O'Halloran have flying at the beginning of the season. But I don't know what's happened to Jason. I had him down as a bit of a. I had him down for a championship win this year because he's jumped on that bike initially in pre-season testing and he was flying and it seemed to have just dropped off a little bit at the moment. But it's the Yamaha, like I said, as a package now. It's been developing for 5 or 6 years and it's getting there now. Like I said, it's really fast. The speed trap figures at the Northwest 200 were the fastest super bike were 199 mile an hour. And I went through on a stock Yamaha R1 at 198. So the speed's there, and like I said, it's so easy to ride. It's unbelievable.
What sort of brake horsepower is your stocker kicking out?
I think it's on Slick's Dyno up at up Derby. It's about, I think it was 201 horsepower, I think, or something like that. Yeah. Just as a stocker, so it's obviously a good bike. And like I said, the top end speed just it's phenomenal. And like I said, the bike is amazing.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of obviously like the the price range of a sort of sports bike these days. I remember when all the sports bikes, you were looking at around the sort of 11, 12 grand.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden with all these R models and the Kawasaki have brought the bike that we're on this year is, I think it's about 23 grand as a road bike. And then you've obviously got these Ducatis and these like souped up bikes. What's the sort of if to build a Yamaha stock bike ready to race, is it on the expensive side of the scale, or?
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure, but I know that the bike I'm riding is it's just an R1, not the R1M, so it's obviously a little bit cheaper in that respect. But obviously you buy a Akapovic exhaust systems and your suspension, and then obviously the YEC kit, ECU and stuff like that. So there's obviously a lot more to a super stock bike. Obviously people can go and buy it. It is virtually that, but there's a lot more you've got to add to it to get it to a super stock spec at a good standard anyway. So it's I couldn't tell you what the price figure is, but I wouldn't like to pay for it myself.
Obviously, we're talking about price here. Adam's just whispering at Ian and telling me how much this new ZX10, like a refresh, is potentially going to cost. Go on, Adam. Tell everyone while I block my ears because I'm on a Kawasaki.
A set of con rods for the new 19 bike is £10,000 for 4 rods. So that's right, £2,500 a piece.
So because one of the upgrades this year for the Kawasaki was the titanium rods. So I think the steel rods are something, they're like not very expensive, the steel ones, and then the titanium ones are crazy expensive. It would be interesting to back them and. Yeah,
obviously with the lighter rods in there, the crank will spin a bit faster, won't it? And spin up, and it'll just allow the engine to rev a bit harder and a bit quicker, won't it?
Yeah, and well, I'm saying it would be interesting to test. I've actually raced the 18 engine at, where was it? At Oulton Park, I think, and then I got onto the 19 engine for the last round. So there was a noticeable difference, and I think there's an extra 600 RPM on the new 19 bike. But it's one of those things, is you pay 10, 11 grand for a bike, and then to get like an extra couple of tenths, it's another 10 grand. It's the law of diminishing returns, as Tom likes to say. But yeah, it is crazy expensive. Right, before we shoot off, I've got a little. We usually do Dom versus the guest. Have you got any more questions before we get on to this?
No, I'm just ready to embarrass myself here because these two know considerably more than me, so we might as well just tell them they've won it here.
Wait 2 seconds. I'll stick me spectacles on. Give us 2 minutes.
The
Just
deflectors.
carry on talking.
The deflectors, young'un.
carry on talking while I get this sorted.
So, Adam, do you think Chrissy looks like a tit in glasses?
No comment.
Jamie, same question.
No comment.
You're all brave on the track, but when it comes to
right, okay. So the way this works is multiple choice apart from one of the questions. So I'll ask a question. You two can have first go. Then Dom,
hand the mic over.
Yeah, and then we'll switch. So.
Yeah,
no.
No.
You two can work.
No.
It's Dom versus the guests.
Guests.
Yeah. Okay, so lads, you first. So question 1. Put the following TT course landmarks in order. So we've got. It's all the B's. If you give us 2 seconds. So we've got Ballacrane, B Ballahutchin, C Ballaspur, D Ballacray, and E Ballig. So we've got A Ballacrane, B Ballahutchin, C Ballaspur, D Ballacray. Is it Ballacray or Ballacry? Ballacry, sorry, Ballacry, and E Ballig. Yeah, in order. Okay, so lads, you go first.
Yeah, Ballacrane's first. I'm not 100% sure about the other ones.
Right. Are you looking at the answers then?
No, this is a question. Ballig Bridge. That's the one with the white. You come through Crane. I'm sure that's that little bridge by that white.
Okay, I'm gonna have to push you for an answer, lads.
It's a bullseye. Ballig Bridge. Yep, Ballig Bridge, and then Ballacrane. Ballaspur.
Yeah.
To the left. Ballig Bridge is just after. And
so we got A.
So
A
C E.
I'm not sure. Ballahutchin. Where's Ballahutchin?
I reckon it's A, C, E, D, and B.
okay, and Dom.
It's Mclean. So that's it. ACD. No. Oh, next question. Screw it. I'm saying the same as them. Go on, next question.
So you're going
Same ones. I'm bottling it.
Question 2. If you check this me phone. Question 2.
This karaoke bar system's no good.
Which year did the senior TT not run? So Dom, you first.
When did not run? That was foot and mouth.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Options. I forgot it was multi-choice. So
Wait, can
which
foot
year-
and mouth be an answer?
which year did
No,
the-
foot and mouth. I've got it. Foot and mouth. There you are. Next question.
Which year did the TT not run? A 2011, B 2012, or C 2013?
No, that's which year?
So Dom.
Senior council.
Say them dates again.
So it's just to be clear, which year did the senior TT not run?
Right.
A 2011, B 2012, or C 2013? Come on, Dom.
13.
2013, yeah.
That's the wrong answer. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go A. I think.
A 2011.
Yeah.
Okie doke. Question 3. So lads, this isn't multiple choice. Guy Martin's final TT Superbike race was in 2017. Where did he crash out of the race on his factory Honda?
What's the name? Oh, Blake Bridge.
Yeah, it's Bill.
It's the one after
Yeah,
Blake Bridge. Is it called Blake Bridge? Oh.
I don't know. Yeah.
Not sure.
The left after Blake Bridge.
So we need a name.
We don't have one. We
Don't have one past Dom.
It's obviously Mclean right through where Milty crashed down over the bridge. It's Ballock Bridge.
Bridge. Oh,
Then he comes into the left.
So
and
do you think
box
it's-
full of neutrals? It's a box. It was the left. The box full of neutrals.
It's got a name. You need a name. Oh, we're going for a pass.
It's Bridge. No, not Braddon. It's definitely not Braddon.
We'll go pass.
There's no millionaires here, so we've not
Right.
got no helplines.
Right.
See how bad this is. I've got to do this every pod, mate. I'm going to do this every pod.
Question 4. Which corner on the TT course is the slowest? A. Westwood, B. Schoolhouse Corner, or C. Grieber Bridge?
Go again.
So we've got A. Westwood,
What's Westwood?
B. Schoolhouse Corner, C. Grieber Bridge. It's just the slowest out of those 3.
Westwood.
So you go Westwood, yeah, and Dom.
I don't even know where Westwood is, and I think every corner around here is quick, so I'm going to go Westwood as well.
Both Westwood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're doing rubbish at this.
Okay, and finally, who won the 2017 lightweight TT? Was it A. Ivan Linton, B. James Hillier, or C. Michael Rutter? Okay, I've lost who was first. Okay,
Linton.
so you're going Linton.
I'm going to spice things up because we're doing nothing here, so I've got to just say Rutter for the crack.
Michael Rutter, and at last we've got a winner. Thomas,
Ladies and gentlemen, live on Chasing the Racing, Dominic Herbertson has won. Beat the guest. There's 2 of you as well.
you know-
Fucking road races are thick as fuck.
Do you know what, Dom gets 1 out of 5 every week, and this week he's got 1 out of 5 and won it.
Right, we're finishing the show. Cut the
answers are
show.
on
Chrissy,
2
hit the
seconds.
pause button. Cut the show now.
We've got
We're on a
Yeah.
high.
those are the
Jamie's
answers.
going to win the lightweight, and I've won this. He's got nothing on me here.
Spot
Okay,
on us, Steve.
hold on, we've got TTCASES still in the corner, giggling like a Cheshire fucking
We've got
cat.
an
Saying,
unofficial
I've
winner.
got 2. I've got 2. Well, he's not part of it. He's a sponsor, not a guest. I'm the winner. These 2, champion. Very
Spot on.
successful road racers who won championships,
Sweet lads,
have
well-
won races, and I've beaten the pair of you. Suck it. Suck it, suck it, suck it. Awesome. Right, go on, Chrissy. Shut the show, mate. Shut
Yeah,
the
look,
show.
we'll-
It's been great. Cheers, TTCASES. Thank you to Scott Physio. Cheers, guys.
Well, we've just went over an hour there, so about bang on for a podcast. And thanks so much, lads, for joining us on Chasing the Racing. I wish you all the best, obviously, with your recovery, and hope to see you out. Was it August you were aiming for the what
He'll
was
be
it?
back next week, man. Don't these Irish lads bounce like
Yeah.
rubber balls, man. He'll be back out next week.
Well, yeah, just take care of yourself and all the best with your recovery and best of luck this week. Have you got anything lined up for after the TT racing wise?
Yeah, we're flat out. I'm just going to try and ride as much bikes as I can, as much as we can, you know. So hopefully back at the CRMC with the classic stuff again, and then obviously the 700 post TT, and then the Ultra Grand Prix, and then the classic TT. Yeah, so we're flat out now.
I've just thought one thing that really gets on people's nerves is when we do the quiz and then I don't read out the answers because they answer like with themselves. So I'll just go through.
Oh, no. The last one's Rutter.
Yeah. The first
I'm
question.
going to double check that. No, we've announced it now, Jim.
The first question, which was put the following TT course landmarks in order, it actually goes Ballahutchin is the first one, that's where you went wrong. So Ballahutchin first, then Ballacrane, Ballaspur,
Ballahutchin's the straight, man. You know when you come out Union
Ballacry.
Mills and you climb up before man.
So that's where you went wrong on that one.
It's like typical
Question
school. I
2.
knew that, miss.
Which year did the senior TT not run? I think you both went 2011, and the answer was 2012. Question 3. Oh, this was the corner that Guy Martin crashed at. So you were saying the left after, what was it? Yeah, and the name of that is Dorans.
Dorans.
Did you know that? Did you have that? No, Dorans.
Don't give him any more credit.
And then which corner is on the TT course is the slowest out of the following 3? I think you both went Westwood, and it was either Westwood, Schoolhouse Corner, or Grieber, and the answer was Grieber Bridge.
Oh, for God's sake. Come on, just keep going. Let's.
And then finally, who won the 2017 lightweight TT? Dominic.
Rutter!
Our man Michael Rutter, spot on. Well, yeah, thanks again, lads, and thanks again to the sponsor for the show, TT Phone Cases. And if you need .com, yeah.
.com.
And if you, with a chance, I'll post a picture of my new Chasing the Racing podcast phone case.
I noticed you've got one, Chrissy. You know what I mean?
You've got a Dom the Bomb one.
Oh, you've got a Dom the Bomb.
For your chance to win one, if you just retweet this podcast when I post it out on the Twitter, and we'll pick someone at random. So thanks again for listening in, Chasing the Racing. And we'll be back when we'll probably do
whenever.
A week after the TT or something.
I think we should end this whole thing on a high now. I've won, which is there. I'm just going to tell everyone. It's a short tour from Jamie Coward there.
Thanks very much, lads.
Yeah, just want big thanks for having us on the show, and it's been
He's
a
lying.
great crack.
Look at it. This is special Adam Mclean kicking in here. Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you.
So thanks very much, chaps.